Welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast with Jeremy Barr. With us today, Jay is CEO and general partner at Montel Capital. He's CEO at Rocket Mindset. Very interesting guy, altogether, very experimental guy, just like myself, went on this experiment to interview a bunch of people, very systematic brain. And yeah, we're going to have some fun today. This rapid fire podcast is brought to you by podfire.com. If you want to start, scale, be invited to a podcast. So go to podfire.com if you need help with that. Jeremy, can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us about what you're up to nowadays?
Yep. I am a COO and GP at Montel Capital, CEO at Rocket Mindset, building the world's largest investor and founder network. I've been at million-dollar and billion-dollar companies, D2C, B2B, public and private, did AI on a project with the FBI and Secret Service, managed teams and teams of people, did $100,000 a day media buying budgets. I've done and managed nearly every role in a company, and now I'm up-leveling founders rapidly to attract all the capital and then to impact the world at scale. 3 billion people is my goal.
What have been your best experiments so far in this life? First life level and second business level.
Experiments. I mean, I think doing AI on the project with the FBI and Secret Service was fun. Doing $100,000 a day media buying was fun. Experimenting with people, and I'm doing 300 to 390 calls a month with CEOs around the world, and so all of those they're using my experience, but they're also experiments in not all of them, but in some of them in how fast you can grow somebody, right? So we're clearly growing them and reliably, but how fast can you grow them is the experiment, and like how much faster than everybody else.
And what is needed to unlock that growth in most humans?
In most humans, so the thing that every other investor in the world is afraid to touch is people, in the sense that every VC says that, hey, people is the focus, but they actually think people is more of an art than a science, and people are actually very much of a science. A lot of investors, you'll see they are looking for grit, but what's underneath grit, there's two types of people underneath grit. One is the one driven by insecurity. Most humans are driven by insecurity, unfortunately. This is something that I would love to change and that I work to change, but that is the state of the world, right? And so when you see somebody with grit, and investors will just fund somebody with grit, there's maybe 5% of people that are driven by passion, love, working towards a better world, but the other 95% are driven by insecurity. So you'll see this grit, but 95% are driven by that insecurity, and that causes problems because that modulates communication when you're pulling in investors, partners, customers, employees, and attracting and retaining them, and that causes a massive issue in companies.
What top goals are you working on personally nowadays?
I'm focused on rapidly up-leveling people, rapidly. That is the problem that nobody else is able to solve. That is the biggest problem in the world, is rapidly up-leveling people. Every investor is trying to find the next Airbnb or Uber CEO or Google CEO, but not create them. Accelerators and incubators try, but all they're doing is polishing up pitch decks and polishing up communication in just enough form to get the pitch decks and maybe get some metrics, but it's not actually scalable and actually diagnosing what is this person made of and how do you recreate a human.
And how do you maintain your own operating system? You sleep 4 hours at night. How do you up-level that human being of yours to maximize your performance output in business?
Yeah, so I chose a life that I'm very, very aligned for, that I can do for infinite time. Burnout is not a function of time and energy like a lot of people think. Burnout is a function of misalignment. I am highly aligned for what I'm doing, which is why I'm able to do the hundreds of calls a month with everybody all over the world. And I am re-energized on every single call. I'm talking to passionate founders. I'm talking to a lot of investors around the world. It is re-energizing on every single call.
Do people pay you for each and every of those calls?
Yes.
How do you get 300 people to pay you on a monthly basis?
Building out the brand on LinkedIn, building out the founder mentor brand on LinkedIn. I'm highlighting investors. I'm posting videos of me and other investor interviews every day, me and different founders every day. Just posted another one this morning. One of my clients, he hit 975,000 monthly. Another woman recently posted in the last couple of weeks. She was she did executive coaching for a $250 billion organization. So I am just building out that brand, and then people come in because they want to learn.
So the coaching part of your business generates 150K per month.
I am not revealing all the numbers that I'm making. I'm making a lot of different money from a lot of different aspects, and we're releasing some things too. So we're turning into the auto mentoring. So I'm not talking about numbers right now. But yeah.
But I did the math for you here. So 300 folks a month and $500 per session. So that's 150K.
It's
That
a it's
is
it's a mixture. I'm just saying it's a mixture of there's 15-minute sessions, there's 30-minute sessions, there's hour sessions, there's software, there's workbooks, there's a lot of different things that goes into it. And some of those
okay.
calls are pre-up calls for something that's later. So one call might not be necessarily paid for that for a particular 30-minute slot, but it will be paid on the overall.
Okay, because my next question, I'm also like approaching these numbers, and I do believe that coaching businesses can be somewhat scaled because the back end of that is that you get a whole bunch of information and you monetize that information. It's the best market research tool there is out there. Plus, it feels good if you're aligned with that mission. So, do you feel the same way about that system as I do? Do you use coaching as a market research tool, and do you feel that it can scale in the sense that you can take these pieces of information, spread them to other clients of yours, cross-pollinate them, and even use them to start business of your own?
You absolutely can use the data. Our main focus is actually scaling mentoring into auto mentoring software. So we're in the background. I have a team building auto mentoring software, which the world hasn't done yet. And to do it well and at scale, that's what we're doing. So as I'm mentoring people, it's only temporary that I'm mentoring people. We are building it into the software to where everybody will be able to use automated. And that's how we're going to scale to thousands of founders worldwide.
Okay, and do you eventually ask for shares in the business or profit share, at least in your coaching clients?
I do not right now. I don't want to take from those people and mess up their cap tables when they still want to go and raise from whether it's from the VC from us later or after they've done some mentoring or whether it's from other people. I don't need to do that. I have a much bigger plan than just grabbing equity and just grabbing cash now. It's more about that software and that longer term play and building a massive global brand.
And zero outreach, pure organic?
Yes, all organic, all building the brand on LinkedIn. Yep.
How do you grow your LinkedIn? Just posting great stuff, thoughtful stuff that helps out people, as I'm seeing here?
Yep. Focused on hooks. So I've done the $100,000 a day media buying. So I'm very focused on every single word that I use, and I know when I want to get a post with reach versus when I want one to be converted, etc. So it's very scientific.
And why did you stop investing 100K a day?
That was on a previous company that I was at doing $100,000 a day. Now I'm doing the organic, especially because I want all the founders who don't have cash to be able to do organic and see how organic works.
That auto mentoring platform of yours, will it be a chat GPT format?
No. It's going to be a lot more sophisticated.
Mostly via email communications?
No, it will be a software you will be able to, and this is like private, so I didn't think about talking about it too much, but it will be where people can kind of insert their data and their status and different things, and I'll leave it at vaguely at that, just like they would give me in mentoring, and then the software will give them what is the next most efficient step that they need to be doing that week, that month, etc. It will auto generate projections, all the things that I already do. It'll essentially be putting me into a software, and yeah.
So there's a bunch of other startup coaches out there. Like, why should I pay you $1,000 an hour instead of another coach out there?
A lot of people have not what I've done, $1 billion companies, D2C, B2B, AI on the FBI Secret Stars, $1 million, $100,000 a day media buying budgets. Did and managed nearly every role in a company. Most people have not done that. I built a career specifically for that, and now I'm doing 300 to 390 calls a month across different industries and countries. Nobody touches the breadth that I do, and I'm not doing it. I don't say that to compete. I just say that to answer.
What did you learn from your time at the FBI that you're applying to the real world, the real business world nowadays?
To clarify, I was not at the FBI. I did an AI on a project in collaboration with the FBI. But what I learned, that was a fraud project. And I can't go into too much detail on it, but that was a fraud project. And I mean, yeah, it was fun using building out the AI to analyze kind of fraud traffic and separating things out. And it's I guess what you learn is, there's things that people will complain about in the world. You have fraud coming in and you're losing a lot of money. But what you ultimately are just going to summarize it as a P&L item and you keep going. Like there's always going to be challenges in the world and you just keep going.
Are you more of an engineer or a manager?
Now more of a manager. I was very much deep engineer. Now I'm very much more manager, lead, or global coordinator.
Do you feel that sometimes this engineering mindset is cold and doesn't connect necessarily with other humans that you're coaching, and that can cause friction?
I think it used to. I went from super nerd to super social. There was a period in my life where I went out every day for 6 months straight, 60 days booked out on the calendar, snowboarding, surfing, skydiving, racing Lamborghini, shooting machine gun out of helicopter, festivals, traveling the world. And I got to be super social. And so what I'm doing now is fast speed, because I know this is a 15-minute interview, but I actually get really different with every single person on the call, and I adapt to everybody differently.
Interesting. Podcasting, have you thought of like launching your own?
If I do anything, I think now I like doing the 7 to 10 minute video releases that I do almost daily on LinkedIn. I like the shorter stuff. I don't like to spend a long time. Even this fast talking is normal for me. And I like to do that. So anything would have to be short, probably not a long thing. So, and anything, I would want it to be differentiated from everybody else, because there's lots of podcasts out there. I think what you're doing with this many podcasts with high level people, I think is great, but there's not a lot of highly differentiated podcasts, and people are overwhelmed.
What about the book detailing all these experiments of yours?
Yep. So I actually have a book in progress with different investors and multi-billion-dollar exit founders from around the world. It's actually going to be a group of us, and I don't think that's really been done. It will be the ideal modern startup playbook for a 2024 to 2027 world. So it will include all the latest and greatest, and that'll be fun.
What do you have on the agenda today? If you woke up at 4, you did your workout, some meditation, like what is else on your agenda today?
Back-to-back calls all day. There's 15 to 30. It's funny. It's like, 300 calls a month. It sounds like a lot to a lot of people, and it's actually, it's like 6 hours of work a day spread across like 12 different hours. So there's still like 30, 45-minute gaps between each one. So it's just call after call, some breaks, some chill. I listen to podcasts all day long, and then I do calls all day long.
Where can people find out more about you, Jay?
LinkedIn is where I'm building the brand right now. I'll expand to other social media later, but I want to make it easy for everybody. So LinkedIn.